Scanning for audio.
Hello, welcome to It's In Dog podcast. This time we're talking about, it's the Torchwood monthly range, number 68, Torchwood the Empire Man. Now as I record this, it's about 2 days before Christmas, which is very nice because at Christmas we always have, well, a celebration of ghost stories. It's a lovely traditional thing, something I'm very fond of myself. There's inside number 9, and there's, Mark Gatiss seems to own the scary side of Christmas. But we've got Torchwood, and the best thing about ghost stories at Christmas is the Victorianness of some of them. So what do we do with Torchwood? We get Christmas Torchwood. We get Victorian Torchwood. We get this release, The Empire Man. Now, not only is it Rowena Cooper playing Queen Victoria, marvellously, as always, we've got Richard David Kane, who's a name I'm not familiar with, but apparently he's with Horrible History, so I really should know. Probably would know him by sight. I've seen every episode of Horrible Histories. But then we've got Hugh Fraser playing Castringham. More about him in a minute. And then we've got Patience Tomlinson plays as Mrs. Wickmere, and a few other characters as well. Actually, let's have the piece of paper back. We'll do the synopsis, shall we? Christmas Eve, in a secret library underneath Buckingham Palace, Queen Victoria has invited her new Prime Minister to a very private tradition. At 1 hour to midnight, the monarch insists on telling of ghost stories, stories of the supernatural, the alien, and the unsettling. Only this year, something else has got in. We're not alone. It's great. I mean, let's face it. It's Torchwood, it's the Victorian stuff. All of the Victorian stuff has been brilliant from day one. We've loved it. Torchwood does have a very, very Victorian kind of feel to it. Yes, I'm going to love the 1970s stuff that we're going next year, and all the 80s stuff. I adore the 1950s stuff. I'm quite interested in hearing some 1920s stuff at some point. But it's the Victorian stuff that gets us. So, I've gone on about this before in the past, and I didn't think you'd mind, but you know portmanteau stories, where you've got individual stories that come together to make one bigger narrative. We all know the format. Amicus specialised them. That's what we like, and that's what we've got here. Of course, you know that the stories are all going to come together to create the Empire Man arc, which is great. Very nice, very atmospheric tales, all told particularly well. You've got people telling ghost stories, which is so Christmassy. There's going to be a list of Christmassy big finishes that you can have together. So, I don't want to spoil any of the narratives. The important character here is Castringham, who is almost but not quite a member of Torchwood. He's the Queen's occult advisor. Now, can you just see the Castringham collection becoming a spin-off from a spin-off, or at least being mentioned later on by Torchwood as they go through the archives? Even the 1950s ones would be 60 years after the collection existed. Whatever happened to Castringham? All of these things are really, really interesting, because Hugh Fraser's voice is like a treacle. He was the president in Blake 7. For me, obviously, he was, in Poirot and all of those things. So we've all known him for years as just a fantastic actor. But here, brand new character, really well laid out. And I just want more Castringham collection, please. He's been an occult expert for years, but nothing spooky's happened to him to this point in his life, which means you can have some great stuff happening now. Whether it becomes part of Torchwood or is not really part of Torchwood and the collection is owned by a unit. So many things that we can do with his character. You've got the Prime Minister, you've got the Empire Man, but I don't want to spoil any more spoilers because it's just a great story. Fantastic way to pass some time at Christmas. If you're going to visit someone, get this, download it, give it a listen. I'll let you hear the trailer and decide for yourself as always. So until next time, Merry Christmas and be seeing you.
Enter.
From Big Finish Productions.
Torchwood the Empire Man.
Your Majesty,
I present the new Prime Minister of Great Britain.
Good evening, Your Majesty.
We have fewer than 60 minutes remaining before midnight, so we must be swift.
But what are we to do here, ma'am?
What else upon this, the last day of Advent, when darkness gathers around us like swaddling clothes?
Ma'am, I still don't understand.
Why, Prime Minister, I would like nothing more than for you to take a seat by the fire, to charge your glass, and then for you and I, until the witching hour, to tell ghost stories.
It was the same dream over and over of a forest in flames, terrible, terrible screams.
Big finish for the love of stories.
Good evening, Your Majesty.